Tom Aspinall went off on Ciryl Gane last night. Gane posted a series of photos and videos of him training with Tai Tuivasa to his Instagram. In the caption, he wrote, "Still no date or opponent yet, but we keep grinding and training hard before the holidays." Tom left a comment saying, "No there's not a date yet. I'm not medically cleared to fight and about to have surgery thanks to your disgusting fingernails. I'll be back to smash your face in soon, you cheat." So that comment has since been removed. We're not sure whether Tom deleted it himself or if Gane chose to hide it. Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen believe that if Conor McGregor doesn't compete on the White House card, his talk of a return will no longer be taken seriously. McGregor's last fight came back in 2021 when he suffered a broken leg in his loss to Dustin Poirier.
I do not believe that Conor makes it to the White House. Let's just live with that theory, though. Will Conor be able to manipulate the media even after he doesn't make it? He has pretended that he's coming back for 5 years. If the White House comes and goes, can he pretend, oh, I didn't come there, but you'll see me in November, you'll see me next January, or will that be the final ruse of McGregor?
I think you are one of the few people that still believe Conor at times. You don't, most people don't, but you do. I remember that one time where I was laughing at you. I was like, Chael, you're like the girlfriend, man, that just keeps going back every time. Dude, he's just a bad guy. Like, you know he doesn't deserve you. But every time he calls, you're like, you know what? Maybe he's changed. No, Chael, only you still believe that Conor's coming back. He doesn't go to the White House, it's done. Because here's the deal. Love it, hate it, love him or hate him. The White House card is going to be the biggest card we've ever had. But it can only be the biggest card that you will ever see if Conor McGregor is on the card. Am I wrong to say that?
No.
It can be the biggest. It'll be a stacked card. It'll be an amazing card. But the only way it's the biggest card that we've ever seen is if Conor McGregor's on it.
Tyron Woodley is set to box Anderson Silva this Friday on the Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua card. Woodley says preparing for Silva has pushed him to a level he hasn't felt since his days as UFC welterweight champion.
Anderson wasn't a fighter that I ever thought I was going to compete against, so he was never my weight. So I never was like, oh, I always want to compete against him. He was somebody in our sport that we looked up to, that really didn't have to talk the trash. He really let his actions speak for him, speak for himself, and he was just a pure martial artist. So I always had a lot of respect for him. I thought he was one of the GOATs of MMA, and I was just itching, and I was just thinking, like, you know, what am I going to do with this combat sport thing? And I started back training and try to push myself, kind of like doing a circus like I would do in the actual training camp, to see where my level was at and see where my passion for the sport was at. And I did that a couple times, and, you know, I'm like, man, I haven't pushed this hard since, like, I was training for world championship fights. And I did that, and I started thinking about, like, you know, my coach Duke Rufus, that passed away. And I started thinking about, like, that's the last time I really trained like this. And then I just kind of, like, almost felt this spirit a little bit in the gym, and it was like, you got more fight left in you. And the next day, Nikisa asked me, he was like, what's this post about that you posted that said comeback season? And I said, I'm training for the unsigned fight. And he was like, hit me tomorrow. And I said, what's going on? You wouldn't say hit me tomorrow if it wasn't nothing on something on the radar. So we linked up, talked about the fight. I love the matchup. It's something that motivates me right now in my life. I don't want to fight these young up-and-coming fighters that want to say that they beat me to build their resume. I want to fight somebody that puts me in a position where I can, you know what I mean, be a legend in this sport. I'm expecting the best. I'm expecting him to come out and do what he does best to feel his best. And I'm assuming he's going to be at his best. And if you ever prepare for somebody and expect anything different, you're kind of setting yourself up. So I'm not going to say exactly what I think he's going to do, because that's clearly going to say what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, I feel like Anderson is going to be at his best. Anderson Silva is a fighter that excites me, and winning a fight, especially if you do it in devastating fashion, I feel like that's a career boosting victory, you know what I mean? And we have a short-term memory in combat sports. You know, you go out there and smoke Anderson Silva and people forget about all the lessons you learned the years before.
Tyson Fury went off on Anthony Joshua ahead of Joshua's boxing match against Jake Paul on Friday.
And I've just been sent a video of Anthony Joshua talking about if he kills somebody, he kills somebody in a boxing ring. I think, you know what? He's a little bit long in the tooth to be talking like that. He's 37-year-old at the end of his career, fighting a YouTuber, a Disney Channel guy, who Tommy beat. And now he's talking about killing him and all that to try and sell. Please. Barking up the wrong tree, idiot. Here's a fun fact. If I ever come across you, bum, I'm knocking you dead spark out. I ain't a YouTuber or a man half your size. I am him. The man. You're a classless loser. Coming off a 15 months knockout defeat to a local lad. Imagine if someone from Morecambe knocked me out. You big bum, useless tosser. Get up, and I can't wait if Jake Paul knocks your spark out, you big bum. Get up.
Paddy Pimblett gave his thoughts on Jake Paul's upcoming boxing match against Anthony Joshua. Paddy doesn't think Jake has a chance.
Can't get over how mad this is, you know. How does this helmet think that he's gonna have a go at AJ, lad? Look at the size difference. We all want to see AJ absolutely punch his head in, but we might as well help the little out, mightn't we? Got an idea for him, actually, to help him with that little 5-inch height advantage he keeps moaning about.
At UFC Vegas 112, Manel Kape knocked out Brandon Royval in the first round. On this week's Believe You Me podcast with Michael Bisping, Kape explained why he believes he has the strongest case for the next flyweight title shot against Joshua Van.
Like I say, it was a gift to him, and he took the opportunity in July when I get the injury, you know. Other than that, he will not face anyone on top 5. I'm just being honest, you know. I call him, he did his job, he did very well. Like I say, I didn't see that he beat Joshua Van in that fight. I probably believe that he took the show in the last moment with the knocking down Brandon Royval, but statistics, Brandon Royval was beating him, you know, in terms of numbers. Okay, he win, congratulations. He fought Pantoja, he win, he's legit as a champion. Pantoja make a technical mistake. He stand his arm, you know, in jiu-jitsu we roll, you know, we know he never stand. It's the first things we learn. We know broke the hand or the whatever, you know, he make a mistake, he stand his arm, he broke. The guy is a champion, you know, he's a champion. We didn't fight the better man in that night because they didn't fight, but he's a champion, he's a legit champion. So right now, me just make Brandon Royval look easy, the guy that went toe to toe to him. The guy that beat Taito Arasura, he beat Moreno. And I have the best argument, I have the best narrative, I have the best story. Like, there is no denial, you know. The way I did last night, the way I say that I'm gonna do, he just spoke with himself. I should not even explain myself, you know.
Tom Brady reveals UFC matchmaker Sean Shelby is his first cousin.
Big Patriot fan, and my cousin, Sean Shelby, has worked for the UFC for the last over 20 years. That's my boy, my first cousin. I love you so much, Sean, and he's done a great job working with Dana over the years, and I'm a huge UFC fan. Love all those fighters.
Belal Muhammad believes Khamzat Chimaev would find success at heavyweight due to the strength of his wrestling.
Khamzat saying he doesn't want to fight Imavov. Said one is Chechnya, Dagestan. Obviously, there's history behind that, and they don't want anything serious to happen with that. I know he's calling out Pereira. I mean, I'm excited for either one of those fights, whichever one that happens. What do I think will happen? I mean, if they make the Pereira fight, which I don't think Pereira would do that because he's already talking about going up to 205, but that will leave an opening. I mean, he's going up to heavyweight, so that would leave an opening at 205 where it could be Yuri against Chimaev, which I think would be a fun one for sure. I mean, I think Chimaev's wrestling is good enough to go up to heavyweight if he wanted to. You've seen how he picked up Jon Jones recently in their video. What do I think will happen? I don't know. I don't know if Imavov's come out and said anything yet about it, but like we've seen the history with Khabib's team and Chimaev, and then them shaking up. Like, it goes deeper than that. It's understandable for sure.
Chael Sonnen explains why he thinks Ilia Topuria should be stripped of the lightweight title.
I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna do a little tiptoe, but I was at the Apex a week ago. I had a conversation with a very meaningful person in this industry, and that was the first person that ever suggested to me that Ilia be stripped. And I was a little surprised by it, and I didn't comment, I listened. Their argument, though, was that the interim belt is for those that are dealing with an illness or an injury. If we would like to show grace to an undisputed champion because he's missing matches specifically for illness or injury, and the moment Ilia informs us that he is missing matches for anything outside of the criteria of illness or injury, that's why you strip him. that there is no precedence for an interim championship. And I had never thought of that, and I thought it was very cold. I didn't like it. I got in my car, I went back to my hotel, I'm staying by myself, and I thought about it. And I go, man, there's actually a point to that. If Ilia is missing matches, and all he's got to do is make the claim. He doesn't have to be telling the truth. A lot of guys didn't tell the truth. A lot of guys have missed fights and said they're hurt because they didn't want to make the walk. But if you're making a claim outside of illness or injury, to my understanding, the person at the UFC is correct. You're not eligible. You got to be stripped. I think that is a fair point. I don't want him stripped. I'm on Ilia's side of this. I don't really like what he's going through. I think he's shared more with us than he has to. I also think he's innocent. He seems like a good guy. I really don't think that he would have done these things. However, yeah, they got to strip him. If he's not making the claim that he's injured and has some kind of a doctor report to back it up, as bogus as those can be, he's got to be stripped.
Footage emerged on social media today of Jon Jones smoking cigarettes in Thailand. Paulo Costa is set to face Bruno Ferreira at UFC 326 on March 7th. Both fighters enter the matchup with momentum. Costa is coming off a unanimous decision win over Roman Kopylov at UFC 318 this past July. Ferreira, meanwhile, is fresh off a victory over Marvin Vettori at UFC 323 earlier this month. UFC 326 will be headlined by Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira, with Renato Moicano versus Brian Ortega also reportedly on the card. And as we reported yesterday, Reiner de Ritter versus Caio Borralho was added earlier this week as well. Who do you guys got for these fights? And what do you think of UFC 326 so far? Post your takes in the comments.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos.
Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from William. It says Ilia is 1000% going to vacate. The second one's from Casual TW10. It says me. Sees a Nina drama segment of the video. Also me. This is #1 bullshit. And the final one says Paddy talking smack about Arman's wins, when he himself only has one decent win against an overrated 2-5 Mickey Mouse Chandler on his record.
Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.